My dad slept with my sister. I would try and make this post short, but most likely it won't be. My sister and I have different dads. When she turned 18, my dad and her slept together. Ongoing for many years off and on. This is a show. My sister and I are 10 years apart. I'll try and say all of this in order. My mom and dad grew up together. Before they got together, my mom was with another man. We would call him Rich. My mother had 2 kids with him, my sister and my oldest brother. Rich was a terrible human being and burned my brother's hand on the stovetop and threw him up against a wall as an infant. Luckily my brother is alive today. I'd cow Rich didn't get jail time, but my mom had my older siblings taken away from her. She left Rich and got custody back. Moving the story along, my mom eventually got with my dad and had me and my brother. 2 girls, 2 boys. When I was 8, my dad and sister slept together. My mom first noticed that my sister had a hickey on her neck, and from there she happened to notice things and even catch things. But I'm not telling this story from my mom's POV. Growing up, me and my brother were close and we used to play around the house. One day when my mom went to work, we eventually noticed my sister missing. We looked around the house and eventually went to ask my dad where she was. Walking in the room, my dad raged and screamed at us to get out. We was so scared we ran. My sister was under the covers giving him a BJ. My brother ended up telling my mom and my dad denied everything and whooped my brother. Took a break, and then whooped him again. That night my parents argued. I can't put everything in this post because it would go on long, but to give you an idea of how things were growing up, we were scared of my dad growing up. Many times we caught things. Many times my dad would tell us not to say anything because we would destroy the family. Many times our mother questioned us. Many times we would get verbally or physically abused for telling the truth. Many times my mom left and went back to him. It was horrible and traumatic, and even through all of that my brother and I loved our dad because he's dad. My aunts and uncles knew what was going on, and it just added fuel to the fire. They used to sit me down and make me cry by telling me how my dad is no good. My family would even be mean to me because of how I looked like him, and I suffered some physical abuse there too. Anyways, moving along. My mom always went back to my dad, and we didn't help the situation since we would tell her we missed him. When I was growing up, I really wanted my dad's attention. Somehow I was a daddy's girl, but because my sister and him were having an affair, he always put her before me. Sometimes he would say we're gonna have a daddy and daughter day, and it was just an excuse to hang out with my sister. He'll buy me ice cream but won't talk to me, just her. For obvious reasons, my sister and I hated each other. One incident, my dad took me and my brother and my sister to a hotel room. My parents were arguing over the situation and it ended up a high-speed chase. My dad grabbing us and trying to get away from my mom because she was trying to fight them. In that hotel room my dad and sister had in front of us. We were sitting by the window very uncomfortable, and they were under the covers trying to not make it noticeable, but we're not dumb. Another time I caught them, I was about 16 to 17 years old. My dad confronted me about what I saw and I told him exactly what I saw, and it ended with him screaming in my face, threatening to slap the out of me if I said that lie again. He called me a sneaky and walked away. Fast forward to about 2018 and apparently everything has ceased and my dad built a house for my mom, etc. Long story short, same different day. Now currently 28 years old, and about 2 weeks ago my mom texted me and told me that my nephew/brother, not kidding, they had a baby together, caught them. He then told my mom. My sister denied everything and my dad came clean. I picked up my nephew and brought him to my house. This is all a jumbled mess and I'm sorry, my brain is just going like crazy with all the memories, and this is my attempt to vent for the first time. There are a lot I left out and a lot I want to say, but I'll have to do it another time. If you have any questions about anything LMK, and I'll answer what I can and give an update on details. If you read this far, thanks for listening, I guess. All this is true BTW. I do want to add that my mom didn't know about the abuse going on, we didn't talk about it. My mom was no saint and definitely could have done better in that time, but my mom had nothing and would have lost us if she left. There have been times where she sat us down and told us they were separating and that we can choose who to go with. We picked dad, only because leaving with my mom meant living with my aunts, who was also verbally abusive and really mean woman. With dad, if we just minded our business we would be okay. My mom cried intensively and multiple times had a panic attack and was taken to the hospital. She stayed for us.